The AeroPress, it is synonymous with the specialty coffee scene, and there are many users of this apparatus globally. It has been one of the most successful brew apparatus and products that we have sold in the history of my roasting company, Blending Room. Now, I don't often brew with it. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I have this perception that it's quite an engaged process. There are things that you've got to pour and stir and press. And I'm a lazy brewer of coffee. I've spent years in specialty coffee and I just want to do things that are simple. And therefore, I'm going to test myself on whether I can have a simple brew from this. The idea of these videos, and this being the first of a series of videos about brewing via the AeroPress, is, well, we're going to attack it from the instructions therein. I'm going to be doing this through the eyes of a newcomer, a person that is new to our brand, a person that is brand new to the AeroPress. And my thought is that most people would review what the box says in order to try and emulate that in the cup. And maybe if there are instructions of use inside, use those as the de facto method of starting brewing. So let's open the box and see whether, one, there is a set of instructions or not. Aha, there are. Let's get this out. God, I'm making a pig's ear of that. Ooh, look at that. There's even a QR code. That's interesting. I'll have to do that. Anyway, look, let's review what's in the box. Here is the box, and it's a nice cylindrical shape. And inside it, you get a bunch of microfilters, of which obviously I can't get off the filter cap. I don't know how many are in there, but there used to be 350. It's less than 350 now. Maybe that's 50, I don't know. I can't be bothered to count them. So you get some microfilters with a QR code to scan. You get the filter cap. This here is a little stirring pedal. You get a scoop. So maybe I'm going to need to use this scoop inside of the instructions, of which are included. And then, of course, you have the AeroPress itself. Ooh, more scanning. Right. So you get two parts. You get, there's a little bung or pressy bit, rubberized ring thing, and that's it. Let's have a look at the instructions. Oh, fairly complicated. Ah, that's nice. I own a grinder and I don't own a grinder. Well, I own a grinder, so we're going to make the assumption that you're going to own a grinder. And I suppose inside of this process as well, for those people who we do pre-grind at Blending Room, I'm actually also going to be able to isolate a standard grind size for the AeroPress. I mean, we have a standard grind size at the minute, but I'll be able to test that. So let's briefly describe what the I own a grinder brew process is. So to begin, what you'll need is your AeroPress, a grinder, of which I have, a kettle, I bought one yesterday, and some coffee beans. I'm a roastery, I've got loads of those. The process is heat the water to 85 degrees Celsius. Darn, I have just a normal kettle. We're just going to take it to boiling point because that's if you're at sea level, which most of people are, I hope, that's going to be a constant. So we'll just take it to boiling point. Pull the plunger out to separate it from the chamber. Insert the filter paper into the filter cap and twist the filter cap onto the chamber. Stand the chamber on a sturdy mug. I've got a milk pitcher, that'll do. And then add one heaped spoon or scoop, or 16 to 18 grams. Now, do I use the scoop or weigh it? Maybe what I'll do is I'll choose the grind size, which it says medium fine. I mean, medium fine, what's that going to be? I'll have to figure that out. So we'll choose one scoop and we'll weigh out what this scoop holds on a supposed medium fine and see whether it sits to that 16 to 18 grams. And then shake gently to level the coffee and pour water to number 4 on here. Great. Stir gently for about 5 seconds, then quickly insert the plunger about 1/2 inch into the chamber to create the vacuum and wait for 30 seconds. This all seems pretty simple at this point in time. At which point, after that 30 seconds is time, so you're going to need to watch the time, by the way. Plunge, applying gentle, constant pressure. Do not push too hard. Press until you hear a hissing sound begin, and that is the beginning of the end of the brew process. Remove the filter, take the apparatus off, remove the filter cap, position the coffee over the sink, garbage ban, press it out, give your apparatus a rinse, and then enjoy the uniquely smooth, rich, full-body flavour of an AeroPress 3-in-1 brew. Okie dokie. I now have a plan. So what I'm going to do is isolate some of these. Do you give those a rinse? It doesn't say so. I'm just going to do exactly as it says here. I am now going to go and assemble all of this and come back for the brew. Right, a just boiled kettle. Some ground coffee on what I think might be medium fine. My pitcher and a scoop and all the other gubbins and something to weigh what the scoop is, because I want apparently 16 to 18 grams. So let's quickly assemble. We've got one filter paper in there. I will discard the other filter papers. I've got my brew apparatus, my little milk pitcher, nicely polished, and we're going to assemble the things. So number one, I'm going to assemble the filter paper and the screen together with the chamber. Great. Now I'm going to weigh a scoop. So here's my medium fine. We'll do a level scoop. Never mind. Tell you what I'll do is I will level that off with the end of my stirrer. How about that? That's a nice way. For reference, you might be able to see the ground coffee in there. I'll do a close-up of that shortly. Now let's weigh this. Okay, so that was 15 grams, which suggests that that grind size could be a little bit on the coarse side. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to top that up to the 16 grams as suggested inside of the brew guide. Now let's discard this, get rid of that mess. Right, mess gone. Next, I need to put this on top of there. I've got to put that coffee into... Now, note to self, note to you, don't use a wide-throated thing to pour the coffee in. Use the scoop. If you're going to use the scoop, use it, because that fits in there. Don't do what James has done. What a wally. I've got to clean up yet again. Fortunately, the spill is relatively insignificant. I mean, I might eat my words with that, so let's get that out of the way. Oh, I'll just hoover up in a minute. Do you know what? In all of this faffing around, I'm going to have to boil the kettle again. I actually got the opportunity to get myself a cup. I'd done all this and forgotten the cup. I am a professional, by the way. I'm not a professional brewer, obviously, but I am a professional. I've been inside the coffee industry since 1999. A long, long, long time. Anyway. Hot water is now hot. It does say that it should be 85 degrees Celsius or 185 degrees Fahrenheit from those people in the United States of America who may be watching. Next, pour water into there to position number 4. That I can do, and then give it a stir. Give it a stir for 5 seconds, and then let it run for 30. So let's get my stopwatch. Okay, so pour to position number... Start the stopwatch. Pour to position number 4. Give it a stir for 5 seconds. And then put the plunger in about 1/2 inch and leave for 30 seconds. Now, press down on the plunger with gentle pressure until you hear the hissing sound. There's the hissing, and that should be the end of the brew. Okay, let's pop that over there. can clear up. Now this is the moment of truth. It is a coffee that is known to me. It is a recent roast, so we're 4 days off roast. I have brewed this coffee this morning. It is 7:30 on Friday morning, and I understand what the coffee should give me inside of the cup. I have followed everything that this has told me, and I am hoping that the coffee will be, as per on the box, full-bodied like a French press, smooth like a pour-over, and rich like an espresso. Let's see, shall we? Let's first review the colour. So it is a darker brown. You probably cannot see this. It's a darker brown than maybe I would have seen on the filter coffee this morning, which would suggest that there's going to be more body in this. It should be, because it says that it's going to be espresso-like, and it's going to be full-bodied like a French press. Let's have a taste. Interesting. Okay. Do I enjoy it? Yeah, that's pretty nice. I taste that it actually feels quite robust, quite strong on the palate. There's a little bit of bitterness that's sitting on my palate, which could be the way that I have brewed it. That is maybe the espresso-like element. It could be that, and it's most likely that, I've not got an adequate grind size. It could very well be that I chose water that is too hot. Now remember, inside of this, it does explicitly tell me that I should be using 85 degrees Celsius or 185 degrees Fahrenheit water temperature. And this categorically wasn't. This is a cheap kettle that I went and bought for these experiments. A cheap kettle that has no thermometer on it. So the only known temperature is boiling point, because I'm at sea level here in Hull, East Yorkshire. So there are a couple of things that I could address or review or look at in order to improve the flavour of that. And the other thing that I have to ask myself is, what does an AeroPress flavour profile deliver me? I drink a lot of filter coffee. I have some espresso. I brew infrequently by cafetiere. I also sometimes use a clever dripper whilst I'm at home, but predominantly it is a batch filter brew. So my palate is well attuned to that style of brewing. So when you experience a coffee outside of that gamut of understanding, you can sometimes be a little confused as to what's being delivered to you. However, there is a degree of lingering dryness, I don't want to go so profound as bitterness, because it isn't quite as stark as that, but there is definitely less cleanliness in this brew that I have made than a filter brew. So let's discuss how we could clean this up. Number one, I would think about maybe purchasing a temperature controlled kettle. That way I'd be able to isolate whether 100 degrees Celsius boiled versus 85 as per the instruction gives me a degradation. So moving from 100 down to 85 gives me a degradation in the slight bitterness that I've got within the cup. So that's number one. However, that does mean that I would need to go and buy a temperature controlled kettle, and maybe I'm just not bothered about that. To be absolutely fair, there is zero wrong with this. If I was served this in a cafe, or if my partner Katie made me this, I would be utterly happy with what was put in front of me. I'm nitpicking here. So number one, I would choose that. Two, I would also explore the grind size, because grind size in any method of brewing is going to be one of the largest levers that you will pull in mutating flavor, modulating flavor. And it is something that you should all be pursuant of. If you've not got a grinder for home, please go and get yourself a grinder. Explore burr grinders rather than blade grinders. Have as large a budget as you can and find a grinder that is proportionate to your methods of brewing, i.e. espresso or everything else. That way I'd be able to, or using those two things, temperature controlled kettle and also the grind size, I'd be able to adjust the flavors inside of this cup, I'm confident. And where would I take my grind size? On my Malkönig, I chose position 4, which was sort of medium but on the fine size. I think I might first go a tiny bit finer. I'd go finer and I'd maybe explore that reduction in temperature. Going finer will increase the body perception inside of the cup, which is then going to support that statement of rich like an espresso or full-bodied like a French press. And it may also help somewhat with that bitterness by elevating the sweetness and bringing the texture in. However, in order to isolate exactly where I should go on grind size, I'm actually going to use some professional kit and a refractometer to know exactly where this brew is sat. But that is not for the purpose of this presentation. This presentation is literally a walkthrough in how this AeroPress is brewed as per the instructions. Of course, I could explore this, the scan before you brew. God knows what that says. I'm rubbish at the internet stuff. But I think on the whole, this is really great. Yes, I've done quite a lot of faffing around because I'm trying to present this as well as brew it, but should I be mobile? I've gone camping. I want a quick, pretty hands-off way of brewing. Not bad, Mr. AeroPress. Not bad at all. So where do I go from here? The next iteration in the How to Brew by AeroPress will be exploring another creator's methodology. Now, I am aware that Mr. James Hoffman has produced a fabulous series on how to brew via an AeroPress. So I would suggest that that is my next step. I will review his 3 or maybe 4 videos of the AeroPress, of which I'm going to link in the show notes, and I will then use his AeroPress brew method as the next iterative step in whether I could improve on those flavors that I've just described inside of the cup. So in conclusion, this is a pretty easy way of producing a cup. I would suggest that having a temperature controlled kettle may allow you to get down to that 85 degrees Celsius to 185 degrees Fahrenheit as suggested, and also having a grinder will allow you to confidently isolate the medium fine grind size that the brew method suggests. But overall, that was a pretty hands-off, pretty easy way of brewing a cup of coffee. So if you've got to the end of this presentation, what did you think? Where would you like to see me go from hereafter? Do you have any questions? The idea about this is for me to brew as a lay person, to go through the process of how this thing tastes and maybe what I can do to adjust the flavors that I'm getting in the cup. Obviously, it's quite difficult to convey flavor to viewers on the internet, but the idea is I try to describe what I'm tasting and maybe give you an indication as to what I'm going to do to affect a positive directional change. Do you have anything else that I want to discuss? If so, please do put it in the comments below. I will do my best to respond to them all, and I'll take on board some of the directional suggestions for the next method of brewing. However, James Hoffman's brew method is going to be the follow-up to this. And that brings me to a close. As I always say, if you ever pick up a bag of coffee that I roast, I hope you enjoy. You have a great day.